Okay, is anyone surprised that 2025 is about to come to an end? Yeah, I'm surprised. But we gotta take a look back at some of the best and the absolute worst. So we're gonna start with the absolute worst movies of 2025. First up, we have Alto Nights. Excuse me. Now, Robert De Niro, I know he does great in these crime and gangster movies, but for whatever reason, Barry Levinson just couldn't do it. The gimmick De Niro times two playing leading roles in a movie comes off a technical sense, but the story is a bit of a distraction. Supporting cast is extremely weak, mostly making no impression at all. I mean, De Niro is great playing gangster movies, but this one just fell flat on his own. Next up, we got him. This is going to be a hard one to talk about. I mean, this movie was co produced by Jordan Peele, and he's been the king of horror for years now. But him is a rough film, filled with unrelatable characters, the chaotic artistic style, and the story unlimitedly doesn't evoke or evoke emotion or have any slightly connections to it. And this obviously is probably the one that puts Jordan Peele's streak to an end. No disrespect to Marlon Wayans still, but this one just fell flat and just a very rough film to watch. Even if you're a football fan, this probably won't be for you. Next up, gimme Smurfs. This is probably a huge waste of time. You know, as much as I like Rihanna, I do think this one is just a bunch of Smurfs just doing a bunch of Smurf puns. Not a fan of the animations at all. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Why? Why are we keep making more Smurfs movies? I mean, cartoons do work, but for this one, I don't think this one really worked at all. I really don't like the animation. I don't like how they use too many Smurfs puns. Like, what the Smurfs? Oh, I smurfed my pants. Ugh. No, absolutely not. Why do we keep making more Smurfs projects? Next up, we have The Electric State. No disrespect to Millie Bobby Brown or Chris Pratt, or especially the Russo brothers. The Russo brothers, they've they've been trying since post Endgame. I think Chris Pratt can be more Chris Pratty. Billy Bobby Brown, no disrespect to her. It's just the film is a bit of a bad, but not really as bad as I think it could be. The film leans heavily on CGI, but it never quite blends in with live action. Every time the character interact with the robots, it's painfully obvious they're talking to empty space. And as a generic blockbuster, it just mishandles its source material, a organic graphic novel, reviewers cite nonsense plot, inspired dialogue, unconceived acting, both the big names, no disrespect. It just over shallow nostalgia over the book's theme. Just not no that great. Not all that good, just bad. Next up, Gimme Love Hurts. Okay. We're not gonna say anything bad about Kiwi Kwan. It really is not all his fault. This movie was so bad. It's really not all his fault. The script was just badly written and badly throughout. It's just riddled with glitches. Just can't even, like, an Academy Award winner, Ki Wei Kwan, can't even make decent out. In particular, I wasn't particularly a fan of Marshawn Lynch in this movie. Wasn't really crazy about that. But overall, this film is really not on Ki Wei Kwan. It's just everything was just poorly written. It did have a bunch of kind of weird action flick that could possibly just go way too seriously beyond that. Just kind of really just hurts it as a whole. Really hurts the film even more. Next up, we have Bride Hard. Really? This is like Die Hard, but at a wedding. When I first saw the trailer, I was like, this looks bad. Looks awful. Extremely awful. And it's like a ripoff of Die Hard at a wedding. That's it. No need to say. Next up, we have The Old Guard 2. Oh, man. This one still hurts me, though. I like the original film. I love the characters from the original film. I thought they were fun to be with in the last one. But this one was a huge disappointment. Just the villains were very underwhelming. It had a very weak story, and the pacing as well, and their ending got very rushed as well. And despite the cast obviously real being strong, it struggled to give more in depth, weighing on the emotions, and it just wasted the characters. Major disappointment, and I'm so sad this film sucked because I loved the original Old Guard and I was excited to see more, but what we got really disappointed me from the beginning when it came out. In third place, we have Hurry Up Tomorrow. Okay. Now, before I could describe how bad this was, I'm a huge The Weeknd fan. I've been a huge fan of The Weeknd since like 2015. And when they announced this, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And I got very excited that they were going to be having Jenna Ortega and Barry Keoghan. But I got a little bit nervous though because of his acting, especially in The Idol, which The Weeknd did a show called The Idol and it was bad. And I was like, I'll give it a second chance for him. But this one got even much more worse. Abel's acting was just bad as The Idols was. Just bad. And everyone's thinking maybe Abel should just stick to music instead of acting. But Jenna Ortega, she wasn't the problem either. They took everything they obviously had from Misery and they put it into a film. And what they got really never ever was bad when it came out. Terrible reviews. And yeah, just Abel is, as an actor to me, not that good. Just taking the album and making it into a film just did not work for everyone. Those again, the album I was a fan of, but the movie right here did not work. He tried to be clever. He tried to do like what Prince did back in 1984 with Purple Rain, but it just didn't work. So again, I will say is this. I love The Weeknd. I'm a huge Weeknd fan. I've been a fan of his music since 2015. But this one here was a huge disappointment for me. I do praise his music, but his acting just did not work at all for the film. Next up, we have War of the Worlds. What in the world was this? You remake War of the World and obviously you just put Ice Cube in after 20 years of an adaptation with Tom Cruise, directed by Steven Spielberg. Just, uh, with corporate ads for Amazon, not a sci-fi thriller. No, no, absolutely not. Just bad plot holes, terrible acting, and it just feels like we're just watching something for Amazon instead of a sci-fi thriller. Whatever Ice Cube did, it really, really did not work for everyone. This is an embarrassment of a film, an embarrassing remake, and why remake War of the Worlds 20 years later with this? This right here is a total embarrassment. And whenever you do, just don't do like we just saw. There's nothing fun to watch. There's nothing special you can add. And this one here is a total disaster that we totally got. But even much bad than we've seen this year. I mean, remake 20 years later is a total embarrassment. And we're just watching or incorporating ads for Amazon while Ice Cube is on Zoom. That's really, really awkward, a disaster, and an embarrassment. And number two, like on the worst film, in my opinion. And moving on to the final worst film, and it is Snow White. Yep, you guessed it. When everyone heard they were remaking Snow White and casting Rachel Zegler, everyone was upset about it. Controversies followed. Everything got so much mad. And it's the huge, biggest, and box office bomb of all time, even for Disney. They changed some things of the original story. They took some issues with some of the choices that they made. And Gal Gadot really is not that fun to watch anymore. I don't think anybody will watch the film anyways. I don't think anybody will. And for Rachel Zegler, the casting is horribly miscast. And especially with the CGI and all, and well, guess what? Everything that's happened with this film was already dead once they announced it. A huge PR disaster when this was announced. They took everything that they wanted, changed things up, and just made it into a total disaster we got. And everything was totally a biggest disaster in the history of Disney. How bad? Very bad. So, yeah. And the biggest analysis to a box office bomb. Probably the biggest, in my opinion, for Disney. I know some people obviously kind of did praise Ziegler's performance, but some people obviously are mad about Gal Gadot. And I didn't see it at all because I was too quiet to talk about it. And when I heard about that, I was like, yeah, this is not good. It was already in a bad shape when it first was announced. The good news is it wasn't that good. And it's all over, and there's nothing more we need to say. So this is, in my opinion, the worst film of 2025 this year. What do you think is the worst film of 2025? Talk in your comments in comments below. And hope you all had a great holiday break, and it was a huge honor. And we got more videos to check out for the best. So just hang in tightly, and I will get this one uploaded. In the meantime, I will see you all in the next video.